Most women think that they just aren't intuitive, that it's a skill or gift that other women have and they just aren't, they just don't have this. But I want to offer you a new perspective today, something different, something that you may have never thought of before, although this might make you a little bit angry. You've been intuitive your whole entire life. It's always been there. You can access it any time. You were just taught to override it. You were taught to defer to the experts, to logic, to defer to everything outside of you, out of yourself. This is what you were led to believe. And it was intentional. Your intuition has been suppressed. And I just want you to sit with that for a moment and think about that, because it wasn't intentional. It was intentional. So in this video, we're going to talk about really what your intuition is and how powerful it is, even more powerful than your logic brain. Also going to talk about why this was intentionally, why we've kind of lost touch with our intuition. And finally, we're going to talk about how we can start to reconnect with our intuition so we can start to let this lead us in our own day-to-day lives. So if we have not met before, hello, welcome. My name is Krista, and I guide women to really reconnect back to themselves, to hear their inner wisdom, and to let this move them forward in their life courageously so that they can live aligned life with what feels good for them. So let's talk about our intuition and really what is going on. And so once we were small girls, we were taught to override our intuition. And we didn't even know this or recognize this. It was kind of a slow process that years after years, decades after decades, we've just really not understood it. We've never had the reverence for it and taught to trust it, to hear it, and move accordingly. And this probably was implicitly and explicitly, we were taught someone else knows best. Everybody else knows best than what we do. And I don't believe it was an accident, because as women, if you are not intuitive, if you do not have that trust in yourself, you stay small, you stay dependent, and you're a little bit easier to control. And if you don't have that self-trust in yourself. So women are constantly looking outside of themselves for external gratification, asking people what their opinions are, and never really giving themselves the space and the quiet to really trust and tap into what is best for them. And it's just because our intuition's been overridden for years, and we no longer think of it as something that is powerful and wise and trusting, because it hasn't been a part of our landscape or our learning, really. And so that you're not doing anything wrong. You have your intuition. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. It's just really understanding and looking at this a little bit differently. I don't believe that women have an intuition problem at all. I 100% do not believe that. They've just been taught to not hear it and not trust it. Really, that is the deeper issue. So it's always been available for you. And it's something you can decide today that you can use your intuition and have this kind of move you through your life. It's really that simple. You don't need any other skills. It's just really a decision for you to say, I'd like to be more intuitive, and I'm going to listen to what my body is saying to me. We have been taught as young girls, women too, many situations. We were taught to be good. We were taught to not make others uncomfortable. We were taught to never be selfish, or we don't want to rock the boat. We were taught to be practical and logical. All of these messages were overriding our intuition. What we felt in our body, you didn't want to disappoint somebody, you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, so we just overrode what we were feeling. we had a decision to make. Well, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound on paper like the right thing to do. So yeah, I'll do this. Or this person with all these letters after their name, they must know best. They know what's better for me. So all of these ways that we've been ingrained to make decisions for ourselves, our intuition again was always there. It was just that we were outsourcing it and we didn't trust what we were feeling. So this, just like I said, it happens slowly, it happens over decades of time. So we just lost the trust in ourselves. And I don't believe that it was random. It's, this information, this intelligence that how our body speaks to us. It's a feeling in our body. It's ancient, it's quick, and it deserves reverence and respect, because it really is something that's guiding us. It's our brain and our logic mind takes longer to actually catch up. That sensation you feel in your body, it's immediate, it's impactful, it's there. But when we start to override that, we wait and we overthink, and we, 2 seconds later, 3 seconds later, we have a different image, different opinion in our mind. And again, this is our intuitions being overridden at this time. You've just been trained to override it, really. Think about even when you make a decision, and if you have a decision to make, immediately your body knows the decision. But then we start to override it and question it and overthink, and this is really what we do most of our lives. I'm going to speak a little bit now about my personal story with my intuition, because I was like most of you probably watching this right now. A few years ago, I had certainly heard about intuition. It was a word I knew. I never really thought about it much. But I made decisions through my logic brain and what I'd been taught and what was the right decision. I kind of weighed out the pros and cons always. I overthought everything. I asked other people their opinions. I went back and forth, second guessed myself. And that was my norm for most of my life. And then a few years ago, I started to slow down a little bit and start to kind of hear my intuition. I didn't dismiss it as quickly. I started to tap into what it was saying to me. And not perfectly, that's for sure. It was a slow process. There was still fear with what some of the things my intuition was asking me to do. It wasn't always clear cut. It wasn't always simple. But slowly I started to listen to what it was saying and make decisions based on what it was saying. And it just took me on this path that my brain would never have ever predicted or could have even conjured up. But it was this new trajectory that I was led down, and it's been kind of a wonderful journey. And again, it's aligned, it's me, it feels right, because my intuition has been guiding me. And really, for the first time in my life, I started to really hear it and act on it and really trust what it was saying. And I don't say this to sound aspirational or anything like that. I only say this because if I can do it, you can do it too. I am not special at all. And I'm just a woman who's trying to figure it out as well. But I tried a new way. I tried something different. I tried maybe what everybody else wasn't doing, and just to see, and I didn't talk about it out loud, really. I just kind of kept it to myself, but I made decisions based on the feeling I was getting. And it's been kind of a really neat journey that I've taken, and one that everybody is available to everybody. So I want you to know that. Again, it's a decision that you can make for yourself, and to start small, but it's available for you. There's nothing wrong with you. If I can do it, you can do it too. And it's not reserved for some people. It's not like some people are lucky and some people aren't. No, we're all the same that way. So for years, I just I didn't trust my intuition. I would kind of hear it, but I just overrode it and dismissed it and just moved on and didn't really ever question it again. So that's what I want to share with you about that. So if you are someone who is thinking, this sounds interesting, that maybe there's a new way, and I just want you to know that your intuition has always been there. What I think perhaps has probably happened is you've just called it something different. What has been your intuition is you saying you have anxiety, you've been overthinking, you've dismissed that gut feeling, you've second guessed a decision that you know. Your intuition has been speaking to you, but you're not listening, you're not trusting it. So all this other stuff comes up instead of really tapping into what your intuition is saying and guiding you. That's the signal. That is 100% the signal. Again, you were just overtaught because that was how we were raised oftentimes in this culture. So I want to present this to you a new way, and for you to understand it's accessible, it's available for you, and it's just really a decision to start to kind of listen to it and notice it. And it's so powerful, and it's a wonderful way to let it lead your life. So that's what I want to say. And I'd be curious, you can put in the comments down below what your relationship is with your intuition, where it's brought you, if you hear it and you dismiss it, or if you hear it and you start to trust it. I would love to hear your experience with it, because I also think a lot of women are starting to kind of wanting to tap into this more and more and see that it is available for them 100%. Also, I will mention, I do have in the description down below, I have an audio guided practice that you can listen to that will really tap into your inner wisdom. You will hear your inner voice whispering to you, and that might be something that you might want to check out. You can look at that down below, and it would be great first steps to look at that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.